First of all, thank you, Jay, for taking time out towards a Friday evening where normally people are happy to meet their friends, and while you are taking time out to have an interaction with us about
A
the
pleasure. Not a problem.
first thing first. Mahindra Blues Festival is on to its 14th year. And this year, again, like every year, the people are very excited. There is a lot of buzz around the event anyway. How is your journey been when it comes to Mahindra as a brand and Mahindra Blues as a festival in its own, as a showcase event for blues in itself?
The journey actually started about 20, 21 years ago when we were trying to figure out how we can use culture in the corporate context. And while we had been a very generous philanthropic organization right from our inception in 1945, we had done all our participation in culture, sports, etc., on an ad hoc basis. There was no grand plan, so to speak, on how we use culture strategically for the brand. And around 21 years ago, it was decided that rather than fritter away funds sporadically, we will look at it as a strategic initiative. Cultural outreach is what we called it. And we started the first um, experiment, I would say, with theater, which over the years has become the Mahindra Excellence in Theatre Awards, which has become the only national level recognition for theatre in the country today. So we are very happy with the decision that we took at that time that we should concentrate on certain projects rather than do everything and under the sun. And the selection of the culture projects have to be very well thought through and planned, carefully making sure that what we are getting into serves a variety of purposes. One is it should really um, benefit the art form that we are adopting. It should not be something that is already getting corporate support. So we want to be able to help the underdog, so to speak. It should have a positive impact on the brand and should make sense to the brand to be in that atmosphere of that particular cultural outreach that we have selected to do. So theater filled all those boxes, and when we were looking at what next, um, one of the ideas was to kind of do something for the American customer base that we had that were using our tractors. And we said, how would a cultural connect work with this community that we want to do an outreach for? And I remember going down to the States and the Mississippi Delta and figuring out options that we could use to approach a mindset, emotional connect. And I remember looking at things like country line dancing and bullfighting and of course the blues and jazz and all the things that originate and make sense in that community. And blues stood out from the lot. On the world stage, blues was not getting its due. Blues, as you know, is the font of all American music. It is the music of the slaves that originated in the plantations where they were subjugated to different land holdings. The families were kind of separated, and the only way they communicated with each other was it started with yodeling, and then the yodeling became poetry, and the poetry became music. So that while it is very close to the farming community that we wanted to target, on the world stage it was kind of diminishing in its value. And that was when we said, okay, this would make sense for us, because not only will it bring us closer to the customer base that we want to attract, but at the same time do something good for the blues genre on the whole on the world stage. Because the audacious goal that we set for ourselves was to create the world's largest blues festival outside the US in Asia, which I think we achieved in the first 2 or 3 years of the festival being held in Bombay. Since the blues, we've added another four properties over the years. So we have total six festivals that we do as part of our cultural outreach, each one selected lovingly, carefully, with a strategic purpose in mind. Um, the blues journey has been very satisfying. Not only did it help us in our original goal of coming closer to our tractor community there, now we are the US's third largest tractor brand. And I don't know whether I can attribute everything to the blues because a lot of the work was done on the ground in the US by our product and marketing teams. But nonetheless, we probably had a small role to play in getting that emotional connect with the customer base. And Mumbai and India adopting the blues and celebrating it the way they do has been a complete and wonderful gift to us. Because we started the festival in Mumbai, admittedly with a little bit of trepidation, whether it would be accepted. Jazz, as you know, has a long history with Mumbai and India, with Bollywood adopting jazz in the early days, but blues, and we've been uh, often people kind of confuse blues with the jazz genre, but the blues is a separate entity in itself. Blues predates jazz actually, and we've stayed true to that genre over the years. So, if you look at the programming that happened over the past 14 years, you would see blues stalwarts kind of headlining all our festivals. And I think Mumbai's spirit and the spirit of the blues, there's some magic between those two elements, because the magic that you see on at Mehboob Studio every year, where the audience is almost like a tribe that comes back year on year on year, the same group of people swaying to the beats of the best of blues musicians, and going back with so much brand love for Mahindra. I mean, all those things make a heady mix and delights us at the Mahindra Group.
In this year, that the latest that has happened is, I think the entries were closed and a band was announced, the winner of the blues band contest, the Altered Five Blues Band, if I'm not wrong, that's the name. And they are going to be performing as well in the festival. So when you are picking up a band to promote or to support them, etc., etc., what what kind of support are you providing to the artists, let's say, who has qualified and who's the winner of the contest?
So, giving them a stage at the Mahindra Blues Festival is a great step in their career. Uh, I remember Arushi Karnik, who was this wonderful girl from a small town in Surat who won in the second year of our starting the Mahindra Blues Band Hunt. And she now is a very popular blues musician in the US. We've had a lot of stories where just giving them a platform at the blues festival opens up doors for them. Admittedly, we don't do much after that first step. It is up to them to take a leap in their career. This is going to give them a little bit of a push, hopefully. But essentially, the idea of doing the Mahindra Blues Band Hunt was to encourage bands in India, and we know there are lots of garage bands who don't get the limelight that they deserve, to come to the fore, and even less so for blues musicians, because blues again is such a niche genre that bands that want to do blues end up doing other stuff as well, because that's what sells more. But since we are true to the blues and we ask them to create a blues set for the competition, and we have Ehsan and Loy who judge it with such credibility and enthusiasm, um, it has turned out to be a great step for small bands in their journeys.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm sure getting to perform at a Mahindra Blues Festival is Asia's biggest blues festival, and getting to perform there automatically gives you a network and a reach and a visibility that definitely helps you in your career growth. When I talk about career growth, when I talk about reach, when I talk about the festival itself, why is it that in the last 13 years, and this is the 14th year now, that Mahindra Blues Festival has not moved beyond Mumbai to other parts of India? I mean, like for
Good
I'm
question.
in Delhi. You can see from my clothes, and something something like this in Delhi would be really amazing. But what is the strategic call taken here, and how?
So all our festivals, Deepak, are destination festivals. We believe that the festivals need to become intrinsic to the culture calendars of the cities that we have chosen. The cities that we have chosen for the festivals, again, are strategic in nature, depending on the kind of visibility or recognition that we as a brand are yearning for, that perhaps is a little missing. To fill that gap, we create festivals so that we then become a part of the mindset of the people in that city. So it's nothing to do with anything but the fact that we've decided that all our festivals are going to be destination festivals. We create a festival and link it to a city. So if you see, our Kabira festival is linked to Banaras, our
Yeah.
theatre festival is linked to Delhi, blues to Mumbai, percussion to Bangalore, roots to Hyderabad, the beautiful festival of Sanat Kada in Lucknow. That's the overall strategy and plan of our cultural outreach.
Okay. So
Having said that, we are not averse to doing pop-ups. So, what we do is, as you may know, we do the Mahindra Blues Special Weekend at the Buddy Guys Club in Chicago, at the Legends Club in Chicago. And we've been doing that for the past 10 years. This is our 10th year of being there. Um, that is an effort to kind of also be visible in the on the international stage, tell the international community through our presence at that club that we do this festival in India that attracts a lot of eyeballs to our country, to our city, and to our festival. And it gives us a great pool of talent to look at every year to see who we can bring down, who would probably work in Bombay.
for the 14th year and for the years going ahead, what is the trajectory that you're looking forward to for Mahindra Blues Festival?
The trajectory is not that of growth. I mean, the most favorite question of people is how are you going to grow this, right?
Right.
And we don't believe in growth for growth's sake. We sell out every year
Yeah.
of the festival. And it is very tempting for us to say, okay, next year we'll go to a larger venue, therefore attract more tickets and more people and perhaps get more revenue. But the question is, would that larger venue be in sync with the spirit of the blues? Blues is a genre, is a form of music that needs a certain level of intimacy with
Correct.
the audience, and we don't want to vitiate that. Um, so we've taken the call that um, we will not grow this festival. We will keep it contained to Mehboob Studios as long as we have access to Mehboob Studios, and kind of make it a venue where people know what to expect every year. They get blues in its purest form. They get a vibe that they come back every year for, without it being vitiated into a big format stadium or any of that kind of a festival.
I also understand that you have concluded Roots very recently in Hyderabad, and
Yes.
it's another college festival where it's a participation from a lot of young children, young students who are talented and who are looking to showcase their art and skills. How was the experience? Can you briefly run through that?
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, as you rightly said, the goal for that festival, Mahindra Roots at Mahindra University is what we call it. It's our own university, a sprawling campus in the outskirts of Hyderabad. with many schools within that campus, the School of Law, the School of Media, the School of Engineering, etc. And like Mudai or Malhar, it is going to be a festival that celebrates the campus community, and also the goal there is to um, program it in such a way that it exposes the young minds to our Indian culture and a vocabulary that they understand.
Right.
So, if you see the programming, we had Raghu Dikshit, Swaratma, and the likes that were part of the festival this year. And they have a very Indian international sound scape that is very relevant to this age group of people, and that's what we are trying to build. And the first year was a phenomenal success. The students loved it. Part of it being the way we approached the festival and its construction over the months that preceded the festival, where we included the student community in creating the festival with us. And there was a lot of learning from both sides. The students learned how to create large format events and do marketing for it, and programming, etc. The organization of it as well. And at the end of the day, everybody had a great time. So that's what the idea behind Roots at Mahindra University is.
When I hear Roots being done, when I hear Mahindra Blues Festival being done, what is Mahindra looking to do in terms of, after, let's say, Roots, supporting these guys to grow further or to build their career, or there is strategically a call taken which is otherwise? So what is that? I'm trying to understand this.
I think the aim and vision is to create a platform where the students get exposed to Indian culture in a way and form that they understand. And Indian culture doesn't become something that they shy away from because either the sabhas are too long for them, or that kind of music doesn't appeal to them. We want to make it relevant for them, and that is the aim and goal of that festival. We don't want to try and do a whole bunch of things around each of these festivals and vitiate the goal that we have in mind. I mean, if one had unlimited resources and one had the ability to kind of really do everything, one would. But we've got to be realistic in what we set as a goal for ourselves, given the resources and the constraints that one works with, and make sure that our goals are um, workable, and don't kind of become such a big elephant that it becomes hard to sustain over the years. So our goal is not to create young talent. I mean, there are many people in the country with many platforms that are owning the young folks, and maybe someday we'll get into a festival that does just that.
Right.
However, Roots is not that platform. Blues has a small component of it by way of the band hunt. Theater festival in Delhi is all about kind of having younger theater groups compete with the established theater groups. And we may not be explicit in saying that, okay, now this is your trajectory and we will uh, hold your hand through your journey to any artist. Our aim is to give people a platform through our
Right.
festivals.
Right. So
Percussion also
essentially,
the same thing. We do the percussion festival in Bangalore, and the programming of that is done with keeping in mind the established groups that are going to attract the audiences and the novices who are going to then gain from being part of such a prestigious festival. Kabira is another example where we make sure that we have artists coming in from all over the country, but we have the local Banaras artists also very much integrated. The Banaras schools are integrated into our festival. So our approach may not be explicitly saying that we are going to be owning talent, but these are platforms that engage with the young, the novices, and by the in the essence of all our festivals that we do, it is all about giving them that rise moment. We talk about Mahindra Rise. What is Mahindra Rise all about? It's about giving that rise moment to these people who need it.
Fair enough. So essentially, for my understanding also, for our viewers' understanding also, Mahindra as a brand, as an entity, is looking to create those platforms which give the spotlight to the artist, and from there they can find their own ways to excel and move forward in their career.
Very true.
Fair enough. It's a 2 days festival. Mahindra Blues is on 14th of February and 15th of February. 14th, of course, is a very auspicious day, and people.
Many years we've had either the first day or the second day being the 14th, Valentine's Day, and people people come to the festival and celebrate Valentine's Day with us, which is a wonderful thing.
What's the thought
Blues is all
behind
about
keeping it on
love.
those two
So,
days? Is
sorry.
there a deliberate thought, or it just happens like that?
No, it's always the second weekend of February. So whatever
Okay,
dates those that comes in is what we work at.
so it's more like it's falling in place by God's grace.
Yeah, doesn't happen all the time, but yeah, a lot of the time it does happen.
You do Mahindra Blues special weekend in Chicago. Are there any other places also you do this, or it's just specific to Chicago? Or
Specific to Chicago because Buddy has been our patron saint. I mean, we got him the first year, and he was so impressed by the work that we do for blues. He came back the second year. Came back the fifth year. He came back the 10th year. He's been a strong supporter of our support of the blues, and he appreciates that a lot. And he in this in the second or third year, he said, come use my club to propagate your work. And he gives it to us for a weekend. We completely brand it the Mahindra Blues Special Weekend. More often than not is there during that weekend. He takes the stage and sings for us as well. So it's great to have that kind of rapport with such a legend, and for us to be able to propagate our brand and our festival in the hallowed halls of Chicago, because Chicago is one of the very key nerve centers of blues, and Buddy's club is a shrine literally for blues aficionados across the world. So it's like a major destination. If anybody goes to Chicago, one evening is spent at Buddy's club, just as one would do for any great musician.
in these 14 years so far, what have been the key takeaways for you as well? I mean, from the festival, from the impact that the festival has had over the community outreach for the brand and everything put together. What have been the key? What could be those key takeaways for you?
The key takeaway is to um, not deter away from your goal, and keep a single focus on what you have started off to achieve. In this case, it was to create the largest blues festival outside of Asia, out of the US in Asia, and and whatever it takes to maintain that is what we keep doing every year. A curation of the festival plays a very important role in ensuring that it remains a very sought after festival. So the curation is very carefully done, and the curation is very inclusive. If you notice, every year there is a great balance of styles, the various styles of blues. So we have party blues, the Chicago blues, the Delta blues. We try to make sure that there's representation of every style. There is age representation, so we have young musicians and the accomplished musicians. There's gender representation, so we would have women as well as men. In fact, one year we did all women, and kind of made that to be an all women festival. Race, we have black musicians, we have white musicians, we have Indians. So these are the elements I strongly believe that contribute to the stature and the authenticity of the festival. The takeaway, one of the major takeaways we talked about was to not vitiate what's going really well. Mehboob Studios as a venue, the vibe that is created over there, the movement of the people from stage one to stage three, stopping at the garden to listen to more music, the food court, the bar, the whole entire vibe is just so electrifying. Um, that the takeaway there is, don't spoil the apple cart just because you're selling out and you want perhaps to feel that you're growing bigger. Don't chase numbers. Do things authentically.
Right. So look, one thing that I have clearly understood from a strategic standpoint, it is very, very clear, and obviously for the right reasons, that Mahindra Blues is going to stay the way it is in terms of its aesthetics, in terms of its venue, in terms of its capacity, in terms of its logistical aspects of the festival as well. But is there one thing, in your opinion, that you would still want to do, that you think it is still missing in the festival, that something that you might have envisaged, but still it needs to be done better?
You know, yeah, there is. While we do the band hunt, and we give a platform to blues musicians by way of the band hunt at the festival, I don't know if we've really, um, you know, blues. I mean, you can count the blues bands in India on the far palm of your hand. You have just a very few who've really made it, and over the last 14 years, we've seen their journey.
Yeah.
I wish we could have, or not we, but just generally speaking, I wish the genre of blues would have caught on to more bands in the Indian system, and gone beyond just the three or four that we can count on one hand.
Fair enough. I think that's something that we will also take a bit of inspiration from Mahindra Blues, and we'll also try to work as MusiCulture to see if we can do something and
Yeah,
add some value to blues in India. But I think one
yeah.
more thing that I would also request is, maybe please bring Mahindra Blues Festival to Delhi also, maybe some other cities as well. Not to spoil the authenticity of it, but that's how the blues as a genre will also travel to the country, and maybe that adds to your wish list too. But this is only a request that we can make as us. And honestly, I hope to be at the Mahindra Blues Festival sometime soon, and I would also love to be at the next year's Roots. That is something that is going to be very exciting. And
Yeah.
I would thank you, Jay, for taking time out on a Friday evening again, and giving us such a beautiful, skinning down of what Mahindra Blues is, what the objectives are, what the strategic goals, not goals, sometimes those fancy words come to my mouth, but what the strategic aims are and what the vision is. Thank you again. Much
Thank
pleasure.
you, Deepak. Thank you. The pleasure was all mine. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.